My name is Juliet Anderson. I'm 29 years old. 14 days before my wedding, my own father looked my fiancé dead in the eyes and said, "She's a liar. Always has been." My mother leaned in and hissed, "Don't let this trap you. She had a bastard child at 18 and tried to trap a man with it. She abandoned her own daughter like trash. She's rotten to the core." I sat at that table in silence, while the two people who were supposed to love me tore my soul apart in front of the man I loved. I didn't defend myself. I didn't cry. I didn't run. Because what my parents didn't know was that my fiancé had already found her. He'd spent 6 months quietly undoing everything they had destroyed, and they had no idea she was about to walk into our rehearsal dinner. That night, everything they tried to bury came back to life. Everything they thought they controlled shattered completely. Before I go any further, if this story is already hitting you in the chest, take a second to like and subscribe, and drop your location and local time in the comments below. I love knowing where in the world you're listening from right now. I'm Juliet. This is the story of how my own parents tried to destroy my life, and how the daughter they forced me to give away came back to save it. Let's go back 11 years, to a library at St. Catherine's, where a boy was sketching houses he planned to build someday. December 20th, 2024. Ben proposed on the rooftop of his Cambridge apartment. It was freezing. The Charles River looked like glass under the city lights. He'd set up candles in mason jars because he knew I'd think it was cheesy and love it anyway. When he got down on one knee, he said, "I lost 8 years with you. I don't want to lose 8 more days." I said yes before he finished the sentence. The ring was a vintage sapphire, his grandmother's. She'd died when he was 12. "Family heirloom," he said, "for the family we're building." I should have known my parents would find a way to poison it. We set the wedding for March 29th, 2026. Old South Church for the ceremony, the Fairmont Copley for the reception. I sent out 128 invitations. My mother called the day after they were mailed. "White roses are so common, Juliet. What will the church ladies think?" I'd picked white roses because they were simple. Because I wanted the day to be about Ben and me, not about impressing Patricia Anderson's social circle. I didn't say that. I said, "I like white roses, Mom." She sighed like I'd personally disappointed her. "It's your wedding." She made those 3 words sound like a verdict. Ben's family was different. His parents drove down from Vermont the week after we got engaged. His mother cried and held me for a full minute. His father shook Ben's hand and said, "You picked a good one, son." His sister Caroline pulled me aside and said, "I'm so glad he found you again. He was lost without you." I didn't know what to say. I'd been lost too. I handled most of the wedding planning alone. My mother offered to help, then criticized every choice. I revised the seating chart 20 times. Every version, my parents' table moved a little farther from the head table. Final version, table 8, near the exit. I told myself it was just wedding stress, normal mother-daughter tension. I was wrong. Early March, my best friend Claire cornered me in the hospital break room. She's a nurse, pediatrics, and she's known me since nursing school. She set down her coffee and said, "Your mom's been asking weird questions about you." "What kind?" "How long you and Ben have been together, whether you've dated much since nursing school, whether Ben knows your history." My stomach dropped. "She doesn't know about Lily. She can't." Claire's expression said otherwise. "Maybe tell him before she finds out another way." Closed adoption means closed. No one knows where Lily is, not even me. I believed that when I said it. 2 days later, my mother called. "We need to talk about the wedding, and about Benjamin. Why don't you both come to dinner? Saturday. I'm making pot roast." Not a request, a command wrapped in pleasantries. Ben was out when she called. When he got back, I told him. His face didn't change. He put his hand on my shoulder and said, "We'll go together." It felt like walking toward a trap I could see but couldn't avoid. A word about Grace Community Church. because you need to understand the arena my parents chose. Grace isn't fire and brimstone. It's Episcopal, progressive liturgy, rainbow flags out front, refugee sponsorship programs. My parents are relics, old guard members from 40 years back when the church was more conservative. They stayed out of inertia. Most of the congregation now is young families, social workers, teachers, people who chose grace over shame. That distinction would matter, because when my parents tried to weaponize church opinion against me, they'd forgotten this wasn't their church anymore. To understand what happened at that dinner, you need to understand what they'd been hiding for 8 years. Fall 2013. I was 16, a junior at St. Catherine's. Ben was 18, a senior. We met in the library. He was sketching building designs. I was supposed to be studying calculus. He showed me a house with a wraparound porch, big windows, trees. "Someday project," he said, "when I have a family." He gave me that sketch on my 17th birthday. I still have it, in a box in my closet, folded along the same creases from when I used to carry it everywhere. We dated 2 years. He went to MIT for architecture. I was heading to Boston College for pre-med. My mother tolerated the relationship barely. 2 years wasn't that much of an age gap, but to her, it was proof I was making bad decisions. December 2016, freshman year at BC. I missed my period. 2 lines, positive. I stared at the test for 20 minutes. I should have told Ben first, but I was scared and I thought my mother would help me figure it out. I drove home that weekend and told her, "Mom, I'm pregnant. I don't know what to do." She didn't hug me, didn't ask if I was okay, just said, very quietly, "You're going to fix this. I'm not getting an abortion." Her face went cold. "Then we'll handle it another way." That was when they took control. January 2017. My parents pulled me out of Boston College, told the school it was a medical leave. I spent the next 8 months in my childhood bedroom in Wellesley, feeling her move inside me, while my mother booked appointments with an adoption agency she'd chosen before she even asked me. I want you to hear this clearly. I never agreed to the adoption. I was handed papers and told to sign. This is what responsible women do. You're 18. You cannot give her what a real family can. My father stood behind my mother whenever she said these things. Silent, immovable, a wall. In August 2017, I gave birth to a 6-pound, 4-ounce girl at Brigham and Women's Hospital. I held her for 47 minutes. I counted. I named her Lily in my head because they'd told me I didn't have the right to name her. The adoptive family named her Lily too. I took that as a sign. I still don't know what of. A nurse with kind eyes took a Polaroid without asking permission. I still have it. Lily wrapped in a white hospital blanket, eyes closed, one tiny fist against her cheek. I cried for 6 hours after she was taken. Then I stopped, because crying didn't bring her back, and I had to figure out how to survive. What about Ben? My parents had called him in January. My father told him I'd gotten an abortion, that I didn't want to speak to him, that I'd moved on. Ben tried to reach me. Texts, calls, a letter. My parents intercepted everything. I didn't know he was trying. I thought he'd simply disappeared. I hated him for 2 years for something he never did. I went back to BC in fall 2017. I switched from pre-med to nursing. I needed something practical, something that felt like service. As if caring for enough people could balance out the years I'd failed to care for her. Grief is strange. You don't always recognize it. You just feel like something is permanently missing, and you learn to walk around the absence like a bruise you can't stop pressing. I graduated, got a job at Boston Children's, dated, no one seriously, nothing lasted. Something always felt unresolved inside me because it was. Then, 3 years ago, I was working a late ER shift when Ben walked in. He wasn't hurt. He was with a colleague who'd had a minor injury. He didn't see me immediately. I saw him. I stood still in the doorway for a moment that felt like falling. He turned, stopped. Juliet. Ben. 8 years and 2 words. We got coffee 2 days later. Careful, not romantic. He told me what my father had said. I told him what I'd believed. We sat across a small table on Commonwealth Avenue and stared at each other while the missing years rearranged themselves. They told me you had an abortion, that you didn't want to speak to me. I thought you disappeared. I sent you a letter. I never got it. We sat with that for a long time. I didn't know you were pregnant, he said finally. I know that now. I didn't tell him about Lily that day. I wasn't ready to hand someone grief that had been mine alone for 7 years. But over the following months, as we rebuilt, slowly, carefully, with long walks and honest conversations, I told him everything. He didn't say much when I finished. He reached across the table and held my hand. Then, I want to find her. I told him I'd already searched, closed adoption, sealed records, every wall. He nodded. Then we'll try again, together. I didn't know what he was planning. He told me later he hadn't wanted to raise my hopes in case nothing came of it. He used a DNA kit, genealogy forums, a professional to trace the connection. 6 months of quiet work. What came of it was everything. The Saturday dinner. Ben and I drove to Wellesley together. My parents' house is a well-kept colonial on a quiet street, the kind of house that looks like a Christmas card and functions like a holding cell. My mother hugged me at the door. My father shook Ben's hand. Pot roast, roasted potatoes, green beans, the good china. Then my father put down his fork. Benjamin, there's something you should know about Juliet. He said it like he'd been saving it. He told Ben I was a liar, that I'd had a child out of wedlock at 18 and tried to use it to trap a man, that I'd abandoned my daughter, that I was rotten to the core. My mother leaned in, voice soft and poisonous. Don't let her trap you too. I watched Ben's face. He was very still. He nodded slowly, like he was taking it in. He didn't defend me. He didn't look at me. He just listened. I thought my chest was going to collapse. When my father finished, Ben said, I appreciate you telling me that, George. He looked at my mother. Patricia. Then he stood up, came around the table, put his hand on my shoulder. Ready? We left. In the car, I was shaking. Ben drove in silence, then, they've been planning that for a while. I know. It didn't work. I know. He was quiet again, then, I found her, Juliet. I stopped breathing. Her name is Lily. She's 8 years old. She lives in Brooklyn with her adoptive parents, Jennifer and Michael Walsh. She's in 3rd grade. She plays violin. She has your eyes. I put my hands over my face and didn't move for a long time. When I came up, I was crying. Ben kept driving. He let me cry. How? 23andMe, 7 months ago. I hired someone to trace the connection. I've been talking to Jennifer Walsh for 3 months. She's remarkable, Juliet. She wanted this. She's been helping Lily understand where she comes from. Lily knows? Lily knows. She asked to meet you. He paused. She asked if she could come to the rehearsal dinner. The next 14 days existed in suspension. Planning a wedding, preparing to meet my daughter, trying not to fall apart, all at the same time. Claire was the only other person who knew. She cried so hard she spilled her coffee, then helped me plan what to say. My parents called 4 times. I didn't answer. They sent a handwritten card, concerned about my choices, hoped I'd come to my senses before I did something I'd regret. I put it in the recycling. I video called Jennifer Walsh. She appeared on my screen in a Brooklyn kitchen, a little girl beside her. Lily. Dark eyes that were, yes, mine. She looked at me and said, Are you really her? I'm really her. She thought about it. You seem nice. Thank you. So do you. She nodded, satisfied, and went back to her drawing. Jennifer and I talked for an hour, calm, warm, without ego. She told me Lily had been asking about her birth mother since she was 5. We always told her she was loved, by us, and by you. We just needed a way to show her. She thanked me, which I didn't expect. I thanked her back. We decided Lily would come to the rehearsal dinner. It would be the first time I held her hand since the hospital. March 28th, 2026. The Fairmont Copley, private dining room. 46 guests, close family, the wedding party, colleagues, friends. Gardenias and candlelight and warm bread. My parents arrived in their church clothes, my mother in navy and pearls, my father in a suit. The respectable people they believed themselves to be. Caroline leaned over. They actually came. Ready? No, let's do it anyway. Dinner went well. The best man told a story about Ben in college. Claire, maid of honor, got the room laughing with something from nursing school. Ben's father stood and spoke about second chances, about finding your way back to love. My parents sat stone-faced through all of it. Then Ben stood up. The room quieted. Most of you know that Juliet and I dated in high school. What you might not know is that we broke up for 8 years, separated by circumstances beyond our control. Family issues, miscommunication, bad timing. His eyes moved to my parents. 3 years ago, we found each other again, and this time, nothing was going to keep us apart. He looked at me. Juliet is the strongest person I've ever known. She survived things that would break most people, and she's done it with a grace that still amazes me. He paused. There's someone else who wants to say hello. The door opened. Jennifer Walsh walked in, holding the hand of a little girl in a white dress with a purple sash. Lily. The room went completely silent. Lily walked toward the head table, eyes on me. My mother's face went chalk white. My father half stood, then sat back down. Lily reached me. She smiled. Hi, I'm Lily. Then she turned to face the room. Small voice, clear as a bell. I'm Juliet and Ben's daughter. Well, biological daughter. I have 2 moms and 2 dads. It's kinda cool. Someone near the back said, You have a daughter? Claire stood. Yes, and it's a beautiful story. Let them tell it. Ben spoke briefly. 8 years ago, he and Juliet were separated. She was pregnant with his daughter, but he hadn't known. A closed adoption. Then 23, and me. The Walsh family had been generous and open, and everyone was in it for Lily. Jennifer stood. Lily is lucky to have so many people who love her. We're honored to share her. Then my mother stood up. This is inappropriate. This child should not be here. Caroline said quietly, Excuse me, who are you? I'm Juliet's mother. The same mother who forced an 18-year-old to give up her baby? Patricia said, We did what was best. Ben's father rose. For who? Certainly not for Juliet, and not for Lily. No one in the room was on my parents' side. My father tried to pull Patricia toward the door. She shook him off. She turned to Lily. You don't belong here. Lily looked at her. 8 years old, white dress, purple sash. Are you my grandma? Patricia said, No, I'm... Juliet told me I have grandparents who didn't want me to exist. Is that you? Dead silence. Juliet told me she wanted to keep me, but you wouldn't let her. Is that true? Patricia stammered. It's not that simple. Lily said, It sounds pretty simple. Ruth, an elderly church member Patricia had known for 20 years, stood slowly. Patricia Anderson, I have known you for 2 decades. I have never been more disappointed. One by one, people spoke. A hospital colleague, Ben's business partner, church members, Patricia's own people. Forcing your daughter to give up her baby, that is not what we were taught. Ruth said, Patricia, you need to leave. This is a celebration and you are poisoning it. My mother grabbed my father's arm. She headed for the door, stopped, turned. You'll regret this, Juliet. All of you will. The door closed. The room exhaled. Then someone started clapping. Then everyone. Standing ovation, not for kicking out my parents, for Juliet's strength, for Ben's loyalty, for Lily's courage, for the Walsh family's grace. Lily looked confused. Why are they clapping? Because we're a family. All of us? All of us. She looked at me, shy, hopeful. Can I call you Mom? Or is that weird because I already have a mom? I was crying. You can call me whatever feels right. She thought about it. Okay, Mom Juliet and Mom Jennifer. I held her hand. First time since the hospital. 8 years late. Right on time. Lily met Ben's parents that night, her other grandparents. They cried and hugged her and gave her a teddy bear they'd been saving for 8 years. And the next day, we got married. March 29th, 2026. Old South Church, Boston. 128 guests. Patricia and George were not among them. Lily was the flower girl. White dress, purple flowers. She walked down the aisle ahead of me. Ben cried when he saw us both. Our vows included the line, I promise to always choose truth over comfort and love over fear. The pastor said, marriage isn't just about two people, it's about the family you build together. We took a photo after, all three of us holding hands. It sits on our mantle now, next to the hospital Polaroid from 8 years ago. 1 week after the wedding, I sent a certified letter to my parents, brief and clear. I will not be in contact with you. You are not welcome in my life, my marriage, or my daughter's life. If you attempt contact, I will pursue legal options. You had 18 years to be my parents. You chose control over love. I'm choosing differently. No response. I heard through a church friend they'd left Grace Community. Too many questions about that granddaughter they'd tried to erase. They couldn't spin the story anymore. I thought I'd feel guilty. I felt free. We found a rhythm. Lily lives with the Walsh family in Brooklyn. Her home, her school, her primary world. Wednesday dinners at our place. Every other weekend, all 6 of us in family therapy. Me, Ben, Jennifer, Michael, Lily, and a therapist who keeps us honest. It's working. Lily calls Jennifer and Michael Mom and Dad. She calls me and Ben Mom Jules and Dad Ben. Her school forms list 4 emergency contacts. Birthday parties have 4 parents. We coordinate schedules like it's the most natural thing in the world. She has a bedroom at our house, painted purple. Her choice. Art on the walls, violin in the corner. It looks exactly like her room in Brooklyn. She told a classmate once, I have 4 parents. It's like having built-in backup. Some people ask if I regret cutting off my parents. I don't. I regret the years I spent trying to earn love from people incapable of giving it. But I don't regret fighting to get my daughter back. Some families you're born into, some you build, and some, the ones worth everything, you fight like hell to reclaim. We did all 3, and we're not done.